All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Wire to Wire podcast. Today we got a special episode for you guys. We're going to do fantasy football.
Yes,
we're going to do the top 5 in every position in fantasy football. We're going to break it down. We're going to give you dark horses. Fantasy drafts are happening right now as the season starts next week. You never want to do it too early because you don't know who's hurt, especially with COVID, who's going to opt out. Any more trades. You don't know. So we waited till the last second. My first draft was today. We have one tomorrow. And we're both pretty good at this. I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years now. He's been doing it for about 10, and we win a lot. So if you guys suck at it, you should probably listen. If you're good at it and you just haven't really been paying attention, listen. Just not along, But fantasy football, it's one of the biggest things in sports. It's been going on for 20-plus years now, and it's so fun to do with your friends, and it's a good way to make
especially when your team's bad. Makes you care.
My team's good.
A lot of years.
My team's good. I still care.
The best players in fantasy football have the worst actual teams. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. So he's a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, and they're selling their team for like the washing machine. So you're going to win like 2 games this year. So let's talk fantasy football and get him happy because his team sucks.
It's terrible.
And I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm not used to losing. It might be something new. So let's start off. All right, so we're going to start off with quarterbacks. We're going to work our way down. If you ever done fantasy football, you know the quarterback's at the top. We're going to work our way down. All right, so obviously quarterbacks. Now, quarterbacks in fantasy football, if you don't have a top 5 quarterback, guess what? It's spot start. You look at the matchups. But if you have a top 5 quarterback, you don't give a shit who the matchup is. You put him out there.
Yeah.
Don't overthink the room, okay? Don't overthink the room. And do not draft 2 top 5 quarterbacks. That's a fucking problem.
Unless you want to make a good trade.
Unless you want to make a good trade. Or you run into one where you draft one in the 8th round and he becomes a top 5 quarterback. Like I did last year with Lamar Jackson. But on a serious note, do not draft 2 top 5 quarterbacks because you're just going to fuck up and start the guy on the wrong day. And the other guy's going to go for 40 and your guy's going to go for 15
like
or 20.
Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I hate Deshaun Watson. I'll never draft him again. But let's get into it. So we're going to start with I'm going to give you my list, and then we're going to break it down. So my top 5 in order is Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Now, you might be thinking, why is Drew Brees and Tom Brady on this? But let's get to Patrick Mahomes first. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, 1A.
Lamar, how do you want your points scored?
Exactly. Lamar does not throw the ball as well, does not have as many passing yards, but he runs for a lot more than any other quarterback, and he gets a lot of rushing touchdowns. And in a lot of leagues, rushing touchdowns are worth 6, passing touchdowns are worth 4.
Yep.
So it just depends on how you want to get your points and who you prefer, where you're at in the draft. Then we get down to my number 2, in my opinion, because I think Lamar is going to take a little step back because the Baltimore offense is going to take a step back. My number 2 was Russell Wilson. Doesn't matter who this guy's throwing the ball to. Will Disley was a good, viable tight end last year for some reason. Tyler Lockett is a top-end wide receiver because of Russell Wilson's deep ball throw ability. DK Metcalf came out of nowhere with no route running ability and became a
touchdown machine.
And he throws the ball to name a wide receiver, he'll throw it to him. He puts up consistent points every week. It's just, will he have the big games like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson will? Definitely.
He's capable of it?
Yeah, 100%. Number 4, I go with Drew Brees. Yes, he's lost arm strength. Yes, he's not, he doesn't sling it as much. But if Alvin Kamara is still there, which that's a question mark now, if Alvin Kamara is still there, he has so many viable options, and he has the best fantasy wide receiver in the game in Michael Thomas because he's always open. Not the fastest wide receiver, but he's always open. So just throw the ball to him. So I like Drew Brees if he can stay healthy at 4. For one more year, he's a top fantasy option at quarterback. Number 5, Tom Brady. Last year, I wouldn't have touched him with the 10-foot pole. As a Patriots fan, wouldn't have touched him. This year, how can you not touch this guy with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, Fournette as a good running option, LaShawn McCoy is a good third down run back if he stays on the team. There's a couple young kids there. He's just got so many options to throw the ball. If he does not put up top numbers, there's no excuses. I don't care if he's 44, 43. He has a better arm right now than Drew Brees, in my opinion. I think he's going to put up a lot of fantasy points.
I just with Tom, like, he hasn't put up great numbers for like 3 years.
I mean, name his wide receivers outside of Julian Edelman.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying he's 43 years old. And I don't think he can sling the rock like he's like could.
But he also has viable red zone threats, which
he does.
So he's going to throw more touchdowns.
And he does have viable red zone threats. I think the Bucs will probably like either win the division, make a wild card. I don't think that's going to be because they're putting up 42 points a game.
No, I think they go to 11-5. I just think Tom Brady's going to throw more touchdowns this year. I still don't think
he won't throw picks. I will say that.
No, he doesn't turn the ball over. He's not going to force the ball like he did sometimes last year, where he's forcing these wide receivers to make plays because he's not going to have to. Chris Godwin creates unreal separation on deep routes. Mike Evans is always open. Gronk and OJ Howard are going to be a great two tight end set, and Fournette's going to be able to run the ball and take some pressure off Tom Brady, which the Bucs could not run the ball against a high school freshman team last year.
Yeah, they haven't.
This year they will be able to run the ball. They upped their offensive line. He's going to be a viable option. He's my number 5. Dark horse. I'm going to say this right off the bat. If you disagree, fuck off. All right. Baker Mayfield is going to be good. He has no excuses this year. Nick Chubb, better offensive line. They got like 3 new offensive linemen that are all top shelf. He has all the
new top pass catching tight end.
Yeah, he just has he has all the weapons you can ask for. He has Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. So there's your deep threat and your guy coming across the middle, even though OBJ can go across the middle as well. Austin Hooper for a new red zone threat. Their red zone offense is going to be a lot better this year. Baker's going to have more time to throw the ball. He's not going to have happy feet. He got back with his college coach and worked on his fundamentals. He's going to be better this year. He's a dark horse, though. I would probably put him at the number 10 quarterback, but he's definitely a dark horse in my opinion. Who you got?
Yep, I got the boy who won me the league last year, Patrick Mahomes, number 1.
Okay.
I got Lamar Jackson, number 2. Literally 1 and 2. How do you want your points? You want Lamar to run him in, or you want Patrick to throw him in? Because they can both do it.
Yep.
Number 3, I got a great fantasy quarterback, not a great real quarterback, Dak Prescott. Dude can literally put up the yards every single game, especially in the fourth quarter. He just airs it out. And, like, doesn't help the Cowboys win, but my God, will it give Dak some points.
I think McCarthy's going to help him a lot. I still think there's going to be games because, good old Jerry still has a big part in that team where he's going to get in McCarthy's ear early in the season especially, and they're going to run the ball when they shouldn't run the ball, and they're going to throw the ball when they shouldn't throw the ball, just like they did last year.
Dak is franchise tagged, and dude wants to get paid.
100%.
What's the best way to get paid?
Throw touchdowns.
Throw touchdowns, get 5,000 yards. And in fantasy, that'll win you a league.
And an underrated mobile quarterback. He definitely has games every once in a while where he runs for 30, 40 yards and maybe even a touchdown. So.
Exactly. So the offensive line's going to have to be healthy for him to do it, but I think Dak's up there just based on what he did last year. Russell Wilson, I got 4 just because I don't believe in his weapons as much as you do. I still think, just because, this is coming from me drafting him last year. Russell will have, a 50-point game, but then the next week he'll go down to 16 because they ran the ball a lot and just blew out a team. And for fantasy wise, Russell's a great quarterback in the actual NFL. He'll win you games. He's an MVP candidate every year. But fantasy wise, he can be inconsistent sometimes. And I don't trust his weapons other than Lockett if he's out there. Disley, their running back by committee, needs to be healthy for him to succeed. So I mean Russell will still do his thing though, so I have him up there. 5, I got Deshaun Watson. He lost DeAndre Hopkins, but gained a good pass catcher in David Johnson. He didn't previously have that because they had Lamar Miller, and Lamar Miller is kind of like an old school running back.
Yep.
David Johnson's really good pass catching, so I think it's going to be a great addition. Deshaun lost talent, but he also is so talented himself. I think he makes up for it, and he's going to be throwing. I think he's going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Yep.
So I think the Texans are a good choice there to have Deshaun Watson like kind of put on some points. And then my dark horse, I got Kyler Murray. Got the weapons like DeAndre Hopkins now. He's got Kenyon Drake. He's got an old Larry Fitzgerald, but still there. And I think the only issue with Kyler that I have is if that offensive line can hold. Because if that offensive line doesn't hold, he's going to be in a lot of third and longs. But I also think that defense is crap. And Kyler's going to be throwing the ball a lot.
40, 50 times
and
a game.
He's going to have to. And I
especially
think that's a great...
Especially in an offense that's named the air raid offense.
We could be looking, like, not turnover-wise, but we could be looking like a situation where Jameis Winston...
That's the other part. He's going to throw picks.
Oh, he's probably going to throw some picks. It's probably going to be like a little less than Jameis Winston last year.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's going to be throwing the ball a crap ton and throw picks and touchdowns, and hopefully the touchdowns outweigh the picks.
20 he's going to throw 20 picks this year.
Yeah, he might lead the league.
Yeah, I might. I mean, Jameis is a backup now, so he might lead the league. Running back, so if you've ever done fantasy football, it hasn't changed for the last 10 to 15 years. Running backs, I don't care if it's a passing league, running backs are still the most important thing on your team because of one fact. There's just not that many 3-down backs anymore.
There is a premium.
There's a premium. So in the first round, if you're not a top end guy, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a top running back, and you're going to have to do running back like committee, like I had to do today. So with these guys, though, if you get the top guys, they are just so helpful because you just don't have to worry about them. Yep. So with me, I'm going to go with number 1. I'm going to go with Saquon. Just because I think he's going to be healthy this year, and when he's healthy, he's untouchable. He's a little bit better runner of the football than Christian McCaffrey. Obviously not a better wide receiver, but he does get a lot of dump-offs. And him after the catch, him in open space, he's fantastic. It just all depends on if he stays healthy, and I think he will this year. Number 2, you got to go Christian McCaffrey. But I say 2, but it's really 1A. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, they're interchangeable. Christian McCaffrey catches the ball more. It's not going to change. Bridgewater's going to come in. He's still going to love to dump the ball off. He loved to dump the ball off to Kamara. He's going to be fantastic. I mean, he had a broomstick at quarterback last year, and he still put up unbelievable numbers. So he's definitely the number 2 running back, but really 1A.
Start him and forget about it.
Exactly. Number 3, Dalvin Cook. Can this guy stay healthy? That is the number 1 thing. But when he's healthy, he catches the ball out of the backfield. Kirk Cousins doesn't mind throwing the ball to him. But he's a great runner of the football, and his big playability is insane, and he's also a great red zone running back.
And he wants to get paid.
He finds the hole, and he wants to get paid, and he's doing it the right way. He went into camp. He's going to be in shape. You never have to worry about that. He's going to be in shape. He's going to get the ball, and Zimmer still loves to run the ball. He's going to get the touches. He's going to score you a lot of points. Number 3.
He's safe, yeah.
Number 4, this is where we disagree. I like Derrick Henry just because the mass amount of carries this man is going to get. They re-signed Tannehill. Tannehill is ass. Does not throw the ball well.
He's not paid like he's ass.
So
how dare you?
That's a whole different conversation. Derrick Henry is fantastic. He can carry the load. He's an absolute specimen of a person. He's 6'2", 6'3", 260 pounds, runs a 4.4 40. That's the thing about him that's different than any other big power back that likes to run into contact. Different than Brandon Jacobs is the fact that when he breaks through, he's gone. So that's what you have to look at. They love to run the ball, and they're going to keep running the ball this year. I like him at 4. Number 5, I have Zeke. Why is he so low? Because he is a better pass catcher than Derrick Henry. Is he going to be in shape? Nobody knows.
He got paid.
This guy doesn't show up.
Cabo.
This guy doesn't show up until at least week 6. Every freaking year outside of his rookie year, he does not show up until week 6. After week 6, he's a top 3 running back. Before week 6, he's like 15.
He's the main reason the Cowboys succeed. That's the engine right there.
Oh, my God. Say what you want. I don't believe he's going to show up in shape again. I think he's going to make excuses. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny this guy's talent.
He'll get 20 touches.
He will get 20 touches any way you can get it. It's just another thing of I don't completely trust the Cowboys offense as well. There was games last year where Zeke touched the ball 15 times. Are you freaking kidding me? He's the most talented guy on the team.
That coach is gone, though.
I understand it.
So,
but McCarthy didn't like to run the ball in Green Bay.
I mean, if you have Aaron Rodgers, I'd be throwing the ball too. I mean, if I'm paying him too.
We'll see. Okay, Zeke's my number 5.
Right.
Zeke's a good, again, start him and forget him still.
Yep.
But don't be afraid early. If he's out of shape, you'll see it when he run. If he's running out of gas late in games, don't be afraid to sit him week 3 or 4 until he gets his legs under him. After he gets his legs, forget about it. Dark horse. This is a real dark horse. Sony Michel. Now, you might say Sony Michel didn't have a good year last year. The Patriots upped their line. They're going to have a better line. Their defense is still going to be top tier. Even though they're missing a lot of it, they're going to be top tier. Bill still puts a good defense out there every year. They still create turnovers. That's one thing that Bill's always done with the Patriots defense. No matter how bad they were, they always create. So he's going to get touches. The thing is, he's not a great pass catcher, so he's not a great PPR running back. But I still think he's a good red zone running back, and he's going to be even better because they're going to have a better line this year. I think his touchdowns are going to go up. Like I said, he's a dark horse. Okay, relax over there.
Didn't you have a chance to pick him in your draft and you went with James White?
Yeah, because it was PPR.
Yeah,
James
okay.
White's still out there.
I would rather go James White.
James White's
Mr.
above
PPR.
him. James White's above him. This is a dark horse, dude. I've reached down. I like Sony Michel. God,
he just hasn't been good for 2-3 years. So it's I don't know, man. You don't trust Patriot running backs unless their name is James White.
Okay. That's why he's not a dark horse. Dark horse, Sony Michel. Okay, I think he's gonna have a good year. Who do you got? Fucking Mr. Perfect.
I got Run CMC, Run on the Top, and Barkley. They're both the same. Ezekiel Elliott, I got third because I don't think that 4-game stretch is gonna happen this year. I think he comes in perfectly fine.
I hope he comes in fat.
I got Alvin Kamara number 4 because that offense goes with Kamara. I like Michael Thomas. He gets receptions like a madman, but Alvin Kamara, he gets a lot of catches, and Drew Brees doesn't have the arm strength anymore. I don't think they throw downfield. You can see it in the way that offense is built.
Is he gonna be there?
We got to see if he's gonna be there. If he's there, he's there. I mean, it's just if he drops to me in the draft tomorrow, I'm gonna have a decision to make because I'm scared. So, but in that Saints offense though,
he might end up in Washington. I hope you draft him.
Good God.
They got the cap
I wouldn't
space.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
They got the cap space for sure.
And then
maybe Jacksonville. You never know.
I mean, why would we pay someone? We got plenty of money. We're not paying anyone.
Tank for Lawrence.
Yeah, exactly. Burn the whole freaking team down. We got Dalvin Cook number 5, solid. And the reason I do not have Derrick Henry on my list is because all of the teams that I listed there with the running backs, if they get down, they're going to be still dumping the ball off to the running back. The Tennessee Titans will get down and forget that they have a ginormous man in the backfield who cannot catch the ball. He is not a pass catcher. So the Titans need to get up, and then they need to stay up for Derrick Henry to have a great game.
You want to know another reason to start Derrick Henry?
What?
He plays Jacksonville twice. And Jacksonville can't stop him.
Well, that's 2 great
on
starts.
On the 1-yard line.
That's
from the other side of the field.
Yes, I know. I still have his handprint printed in my memory.
Yeah.
Stiff arms.
So does Earl Thomas. Hey, good pickup, Dallas. Can't tackle anymore.
Hey, Earl Thomas, man. He's a hero.
Yeah, he's terrible.
And then my dark horse, I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire from Kansas City. Rookie out of LSU. Dude's a great pass catcher. That's what the Chiefs drafted him at the end of the first round. What's his name? Damian Williams is sitting out.
Projected at 7 or 8 in a lot of drafts.
This guy is going. Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't you get lost in the shuffle with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a real opportunity to do what Damian Williams did and just nonstop catch dump offs and score touchdowns.
That's why he's a dark horse and not a top 3 because how much is he going to get lost in the shuffle?
Yeah, there's a lot of hype, and it's there. He might get lost in the shuffle, but he will be the starter in Kansas City. That is a good system to be a part of, so that's my dark horse.
And they play Oakland twice a year, so they can't
the
stop.
The Chiefs love to score in Oakland or Las Vegas. Stop confusing me. Man.
Las Vegas, sorry. It's
Oakland doesn't exist anymore.
Something to get used to. That's why I don't have any San Diego players. I mean, LA, sorry. Wide receiver. Let's move on to wide receiver. So here, wide receivers are a little different. They're probably the most dime a dozen position in fantasy football. But the thing is, top 5 guys can make a team. They can win you championships. Top 5 guys are there. You want them.
A lot of the time, it
almost
doesn't
more than
matter who
running
their
back.
quarterback is.
Almost,
even if their
almost
starter
more
gets
than
hurt.
running backs. A lot of these guys put up more points than running backs.
Yeah.
But it's just after the top 5, you could spot start, and any guy can have any number 1 wide receiver on any team can have any number 2 wide receiver on any team can have a big game.
Yeah.
So you really have to look at this. If you're, getting deeper into the draft, just pick a guy that's got a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But these are guys that I don't care who's throwing the ball, they're going to put up points. My number 1 has to be Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas catches the ball, especially in PPR. He catches the ball freaking 15 times a game almost, 20 times sometimes. He puts up so many points just off catches.
Yep.
He has to be your number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Number 2, I go to Julio Jones. Now, Julio Jones is a faster wide receiver than Michael Thomas, a better route runner than Michael Thomas. He's the most talented wide receiver we've seen since Calvin Johnson.
Total package.
There is a question mark that comes with Julio, though, and the question mark that I found last year is, will he find the end zone? It's nothing against him. I mean, in the red zone, he's fine. It's just how much are they going to be in the red zone? And for some reason, Matt Ryan really likes Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's a great wide receiver. It's just, will Julio get in the end zone more this year? I think he will. I think Atlanta will be better. They're not going to be great. Get off that bandwagon now.
They're probably finishing 3rd in the division.
Yeah,
I'd say they
3rd,
finish above the
but they're going to
Panthers.
put up a lot of points, and I think Julio is going to make a lot of catches and be in the end zone a lot more this year. He's got no injury concerns going to this year. Last year he had an ankle injury and a foot injury that was bothering him. This year it's not, so I think he's going to catch a lot more touchdowns. He's got to be your number 2. Number 3, I have Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is a guy like Michael Thomas that Aaron Rodgers loves and will force the ball to him. So he will make catches. He's a great after the catch. Another great red zone. Touchdowns. Touchdowns matter. PPR, non-PPR, touchdowns are the biggest asset you can have. I mean, yes, 5 catches for 60 yards. That's a good game for a wide receiver. 5 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. That's a great game for a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
These top guys, 5 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns are even better.
Yeah.
So Devontae Adams gets you. I have my dogs in here. Rousey, not gonna. God damn. Rousey, you okay? You good?
Did you get him?
You get yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Devontae Adams, great in the red zone. Okay. So that's what you have to look at with wide receivers. Who's going to get in the end zone, because that's still your biggest asset when it comes to points is touchdowns. Number 4, I have to go. Or sorry, I missed one. My number 3 is actually Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill
Cheetah.
doesn't get as many receptions as the top 2 guys I named off, but the thing is, he's the best big play wide receiver in the game, and guess what? He's got the best big play quarterback in the game.
That's a great marriage.
It's perfect. I don't think he's ever going to get married, though. It's another conversation.
Oh.
So he scores touchdowns. He's a better route runner. He gets better every year with his route running, so he catches more and more balls every year, and he still gets in the end zone on big plays, and that's a huge deal. Tyreek Hill, number 3. Devontae Adams, number 4. Number 5 has to be Mike Evans. Better quarterback this year. A guy, yes, doesn't have as good an arm as Jameis, but Tom Brady will force him the ball, not turn the ball over as much, so there will be more opportunities for Mike Evans to catch the ball because there will be more snaps in that Buccaneers team. And still, even with the addition of Gronk, Tom Brady's favorite target.
Great blocker.
He's a great blocker. Mike Evans still is the number 1 red zone option. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns. That's my number 5. My dark horse has to be Courtland Sutton from Denver. When Locke came in, Sutton put up unreal numbers. Before Locke came in, Sutton put up good numbers.
Case Keenum was his quarterback.
Locke is going to be in there. Sutton's going to look fantastic. And with the addition of Jerry Jeudy, yes, he'll maybe lose some receptions, but at the end of the day, he's not going to face the unreal, double, triple teams. He will be
He's the true
open.
number 1, though.
He will be open. He's the true number 1. He's the dark horse, Denver. Who you got?
I got Michael Thomas and Julio 1 and 2. You got receptions, Thomas. You got the big play, Julio. Tyreek Hill, also big play. Patrick Mahomes loves to throw it to him, like down the field, especially if they're lacking in the safety area. And then Devontae Adams, the only consistent option that Aaron Rodgers has or trusts, I will say. Like Aaron Rodgers throws to this guy, like I swear to God, he throws to him like almost. It seems like 14 times a game.
Yes.
Like he doesn't trust any other wide receiver. Mike Evans is there just because of that red zone threat. I got my dark horse. I got Stephon Diggs, just because he wants to be the true number one. He wants to prove it. He has I love Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen has the best arm in the game.
Yep.
Like, well, throwing the distance wise,
yep.
Because like this dude can throw it a country mile.
Yes.
And so you got Stephon Diggs, who loves to go deep.
It might turn out to be a poor man's Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and like there's not a lot of other options for Josh Allen out there, so Stephon Diggs is going to be eager to prove, and I think it's just going to be a good combination there in Buffalo.
100%. I like that pick, actually. Let's move on to tight ends. Now, tight ends, again, this is definitely, if you don't get the top 3 guys, it's a spot start.
Yeah.
Okay? It is, but having one of these top 3 guys can really make or break your season. If you can get a consistent 20 out of your tight end, you're going to be dangerous in fantasy football as long as you've got something else there too. They
go quick.
Yes, they go quick. And they go quick in like mid-round. So don't be afraid to pull the trigger a little early on one of these top 3 tight ends. Yeah. Outside of that, it's a spot start, man. There's a lot of good defenses out there, not a lot of good defenses against the tight ends, so you can really find somebody late that can help you out every week at the tight end. The worst thing you want, though, is to have a tight end go for 5, because it
kills your team.
You will see on the waiver wire every week somebody will leave a tight end out there that will score 15 to 20, and that can help win you a game and get you in a better seeding in the playoffs.
And the next week they'll pick him up, and then they'll put up 2.
Exactly. So spot start outside the top 3. Number 1, you got to go George Kittle. George Kittle is an absolute animal. He's the perfect mix. He's just as good of a blocker as Gronk in his prime, and just as good of a pass catcher as Kelsey, and he's more athletic than both of them. And guess what? He has the quarterback that loves to going to the tight end more than anybody in the league.
Jimmy G trusts him. That's
Jimmy G
clear.
loves going to Kittle. Kittle's always open. Kittle always gets you his points. And what makes the difference and what makes him the number 1 is his run after catch is the best in the game. He breaks tackles. He's fast. He breaks tackles. He does not go down easy. He fights for the extra yards. And that extra yard might get you a point, which might win you a week. So George Kittle's got to be your number 1. Number 2, Travis Kelce. Can he stay healthy? That's the biggest question mark. But when he's healthy, he's the number 2 tight end in the league. The biggest thing, though, is the fact that he's got about 75 concussions. Can he stay healthy? If this man can stay on the field, he's going to put up points. If he can't, especially since he's got so many concussions, the longer the wait is, the more weeks he's out. So he is a little bit of a risk, but I still put him at number 2 just because he's still with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, the new running back. He's still the number 2 option on that team, and he's still the number 1 red zone option on that team. He gets a lot of touchdowns.
Yes, he does.
Number 3, Zach Ertz. Thing about Philly, Carson Wentz, good quarterback. If he's healthy, great quarterback. Thing about Philly, though, they have no wide receivers. They have wide receivers. They just don't catch the ball. You know who catches the ball? Zach Ertz. He's a PPR gem. He gets touchdowns. He's a fantastic tight end to pick up, and usually goes a little later because he plays in Philly. The name recognition isn't as big, but he's the number 1 wide receiver on that offense. He will get the most catches in that offense.
He will.
The backup tight end will probably get the second most catches on that offense. They love going to the tight end in Philly. Pick up Zach Ertz because Nelson Aguilar is going to drop a shit ton of balls. Alshon Jeffrey's never on the field, and when he is, he drops the ball. So go to the tight end in Philly, and it's just a great pickup. Zach Ertz has to be your number 3. Number 4, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews came out of nowhere last year, just like Lamar came out of nowhere last year, and really showed how great of a quarterback he is. Mark Andrews showed up and showed you how great of a tight end he is fantasy-wise. Mm-hmm. The guy is the red zone gem in Baltimore. catching the ball wise, they don't have a lot of tall wide receivers. This guy is a good route runner, not the most athletic guy. Really, just kind of like a Jason Witten with more athletic ability, and he catches everything. This guy, and he's also going to benefit from the fact that Baltimore lost a lot of the. They were 3 tight ends deep last year. They used all 3 of them. They're not 3 tight ends deep this year. Mark Andrews is going to be the number 1 guy in Baltimore, so he's going to get even more catches. Number 4. Number 5, you have to go Waller out of Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Waller is fan-freaking-tastic. Derek Carr loves him. Yep. Derek Carr's got something to prove, so you got to go Waller here. Gruden loves going through the tight end. He's a classic throwback guy, and with a tight end as athletic as Waller, Waller's the most athletically gifted tight end in the league. He's as fast as a wide receiver, very strong, but he blows the top off the defense from the tight end position.
I don't think the Las Vegas has like a viable wide receiver, do they?
Not right now, no.
No, so
I think they drafted one. I think they drafted the speed wide receiver.
Oh, Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs.
So Ruggs is their rookie, and he's fine. He's a speedster, but Waller's really the only consistent pass catcher you have.
Another red zone threat. He's the number 1 red zone threat.
He's stupid athletic.
And they have a great running game, so him in the play action game is fantastic, and it's going to continue this year with Brandon Jacobs. Ruggs is going to stretch the field. There's just going to be more open space in the middle, and Waller after the catch is very fantastic. Doesn't break as many tackles, but he runs away from more people than George Kittle can. Waller is definitely number 5. My dark horse has to be Austin Hooper. Baker loves going to the tight end. Baker's going to have more time to throw the ball. There's just they got Stefanski, so they're going to run the ball a lot more this year. But at the same time, Stefanski loves going to the tight end. And guess who's going to be there? Austin Hooper had a fantastic career in Atlanta. Some injury concerns, not as many concussions as Kelsey. But if he can stay healthy, that guy's going to dominate this year. So that's a guy you could probably look at late in the draft, and he can get you some consistent points.
Yeah, I think so.
Who you got?
I got the top 2. Mine's just switched. I have Kelsey number 1 just because Patrick Mahomes likes to throw the ball 50 times a game.
And you're a closet Kansas City fan.
Yep, that's right. And Kelsey's Mr. Touchdown. So, especially in a PPR league, Kelsey will win you a week.
Yes.
Kittle, still amazing. There's no wrong pick here. It's just he kind of relies more on the big play, and Jimmy G obviously isn't as good as Patrick Mahomes. So, but still, great pick. Andrews, I got Lamar and him have a great thing going there in Baltimore. I got number 4. I got Waller. Same reasons. Dude's athletic. Derek Carr loves him. He's the only viable pass catching threat in Las Vegas. Number 5, I'm going to go with Evan Ingram just because this dude has a great relationship with Daniel Jones. He's sneaky athletic over there too.
Yep.
And with how many injuries the Giants have had over the years, Ingram's really had to step up as kind of the number 1 option.
And he stepped up when Saquon was hurt, and he did not drop off when Saquon got better, got healthier. So Ingram, I like that.
He's an offensive tight end.
100%.
And then my dark horse, I have Ertz on here, but I think I'm gonna change it to Will Dissly.
Will Dissly
in Seattle,
the touchdown machine out of Seattle.
Before that man went down with injury, Russell Wilson was throwing him. It seemed like every touchdown.
Talk about Jason. It's a carbon copy of Jason Witten now, but a better blocker. And honestly, one of the top red zone threats they have in Seattle because outside. I mean, DK Metcalf is obviously a great jump ball guy, but he's a number 1A.
He's not inside the numbers.
Tyler Lockett's not a great red zone wide receiver, so I like Will Dissly. That's a good dark horse. Let's move on to defense. Defense is almost 100% of the time a spot start.
Even if you have the best.
But it's a spot start that can make or break your week, especially if you're in a league that gives negative points to defense. That can kill you.
Yes,
kill you. So you have to be prepared. But at the end of the day, if you draft a top defense, it's just less to think about week to week because you can start them against more opponents. So I'm going to go with my top 5 here. I have the 49ers defense, great secondary. Great pass rush. I mean, they draft a freaking beast lineman every year. Great pass rush. And that's the thing that makes them so dangerous is they can still drop back into coverage and get pressure on the quarterback. And they stop the run pretty damn good, too. I like the Niners. Number 2, I like San Diego. Less picks this year.
Los Angeles.
Oh, sorry, Los Angeles, whatever. I like them this year due to the fact that Phillip Rivers isn't there. They're not going to throw as many picks. I think Tyrod Taylor's going to be a small upgrade, but he's not going to turn the ball over as much. And that's going to be the biggest thing because the defense isn't going to be on the field as much. So
they're going to have to get a lead.
They're going to get more sacks this year. Derwin James being out, that hurts a lot because that man is one of the best safeties in the game at a very young age. But their pass rush is elite, and I think they're going to get you a lot of sacks. So that's going to help, and they're going to force a lot of picks that way too just because of pressure.
Yeah. Number
3, I like the Ravens. I like the fact that they got rid of Earl Thomas because he did not fit that system at all, and I think they're going to go with one of their younger guys at safety. But outside of that, they do everything right. They have a great secondary. They have a fantastic group of linebackers, and they get pretty decent pressure too.
Now they have Calais Campbell.
Yeah, and Calais Campbell's going to help that team a lot.
So.
That was a surprising move. I thought Jacksonville was going to want to keep him. He wanted to stay in Jacksonville, but
we don't want to pay him. We want to burn the team down.
Exactly, and that's just going to help even more. I think that team is going to. And here's the other thing: that offense worries a lot of teams into making mistakes, and that defense capitalizes. They are always at the top of for the last 10 years, it seems like they've been at the top of the league in turnovers. They make you turn the ball over constantly. They're number 3. Yeah. Number 4, Buffalo. Man, stacked.
They'll make it ugly.
They'll make it ugly.
They will make it ugly.
The thing about Buffalo is they don't let up a lot of points.
They don't.
So there's not a lot of minus there.
Great corners, great safeties.
They always have a chance to shut you out, especially if they're playing a shitty offense. They have a chance to shut you out, and they have a chance to get some sneaky points here. Turnovers can be a problem for them, but I think they're going to get more turnovers this year, and they just get a lot of pressure.
Look where they play to, like when you get later in the year.
Cold weather.
It's going to be snowing like hell in Buffalo, and those games are ugly, and they're defensive friendly.
Yes.
So,
number 5, I'm going. This one got me. Number 5, I'm going to go with Denver. Denver's defense with Von Miller and Chubb on the outside get great pass rush. They made unbelievable additions to that secondary. They're going to get a lot of turnovers this year.
They just have to care this year because, when you have, what was it, Case Keenum?
Yeah.
They
played a lot better under lock, and I think that's going to lead them to be in a top 5 defense. Now, defense, when it comes to dark horses, there's a lot of dark horses out there. You just never know. I'm going to go with, we all know Cleveland's going to be good. That was going to be my original pick. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to be good. Myles Garrett's unbelievable. Their secondary's very good. I think the fact that Baker's not going to face as much pressure, Baker's not going to turn the ball over as much. They're going to be they're going to be off the field a lot more. They're going to make havoc with that pass rush, and it's going to be insane.
I can see your thought process with that one.
Or the Bucks. Bucks can be good too.
Bucks wouldn't be bad either, just because they're not going to be on the field as much.
Yeah.
For me, I got Ravens number 1 just because the Ravens are going to be getting leads, and they're going to be keeping those leads because teams are going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to be throwing a lot of picks.
Yep. I like that.
Their Ravens are great coached. I have the Steelers number 2. That pass rush that they have is ridiculous, and with Minkah Fitzpatrick back there.
You saw it. The guy forces fumbles. He gets picks. He does everything.
Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges were the quarterbacks last year, and that defense were keeping them afloat.
Yep.
So I have the Steelers number 2. Number 3, I have the Pats. If nothing else, then because that division is one of the most embarrassing offensive showcases I've ever seen.
You can say the Jets and leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the Patriots are always well coached. Obviously, Belichick is there. They lost a lot on defense.
They're going to manage the game. It's going to be very low scoring.
That's the thing. Like, the Patriots don't lose games because of their defense. They lose games because they can't put up points.
And that's going to be the thing. They're going to lose more games this year, but when you look at the Patriots defense, it doesn't matter whenever Bill Belichick is at the helm of the defense, which he always is, that team is going to not allow a lot of points. And they still have Gilmore, Defensive Player of the Year. You cannot throw it to that side of the field. That makes you one-dimensional. That makes you easier to cover. That makes you a great defense fantasy-wise.
Yeah, like the Patriots are always solid every year in fantasy. It seems like I can't remember the last year like the Patriots weren't viable.
And everyone's freaking out about the fact that they lost. Hightower's going to hurt. Losing Hightower to COVID, that's going to hurt. Losing Chung does not hurt you as much. God, dog. Losing Chung. I thought he was over the hill. I was waiting for them to get rid of him a long time ago. I'm not a big fan of Chung. I don't think that's a big loss. Yeah. And the one thing that Bill Belichick
still there, right?
Yes, the one thing that Bill Belichick knows how to draft is a defense, and he's done it every year. He didn't even play his number one draft or his number. Well, it was like the 33rd pick or something like that. They didn't even play him last year, and he's a savage corner who's 6'2" and a lot like Richard Sherman. So he's going to play this year. He's going to step up. They made that weird draft pick that everyone thinks is going to pan out. That's that safety linebacker hybrid out of college. Who gives a fuck? But, hey, Bill always hits on those guys. So I believe in Bill Belichick defensive-wise. The rest of the Patriots is going to be rough.
Number 5 is it's kind of hard for me because I have like Bills, Niners, both, because I don't think both of them will make it ugly. Both of them don't really get a lot of turnovers. No. So it's basically they're kind of relying on keeping the score down.
Yep.
And, I mean, I guess if you wanted to – I guess I'll go Niners just because they have a better offense and they'll probably get up a little earlier and use that pass rush to their advantage. And then my dark horse is the Chiefs. That is one of the best fantasy defenses you can have. Not because of their talent – but because Patrick Mahomes will get up 21 points.
And they just throw the ball.
And they'll pick it off.
That comes with a lot of sacks and a lot of picks, especially the last 4 weeks of the season. That Chiefs defense looked really good.
They put up a lot of points. I like that
as a dark horse. If Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, that defense is going to be good. I think they've meshed last year at the end, and I think that's going to lead into this year. I like that as a dark horse. Now, you might be asking, man, this is a long podcast. What's going – well, it's because it's almost over because kicker is Justin Tucker and – spot start.
Bucher from Kansas City?
Bucher, too. So Justin Tucker, Bucher, maybe Lutz. But outside of that, it's a spot start. If you worry about your kicker, if you draft more than one kicker, you're an idiot. And you should not even be playing. So
unless your kicker's putting up 20, I'll say.
Tucker and Bucher.
Yeah.
Lutz is even – he's –
find a great offense. Get that kicker.
Get the kicker. Because when they don't score touchdowns, they're kicking field goals.
Yeah.
So spot start. Do not draft more than one kicker. Do not be afraid to cut a kicker. They don't matter. They don't. You could literally not draft one, honestly, and get an extra trade piece, and then week 1 be like, all right, who's facing Cincinnati?
Yeah.
And I'll bet you about $20 are probably there or about to be picked up because kickers are a dime, it's just there. Everyone's just pick one.
Kickers are dime.
No one cares about kickers. Don't worry about kickers. God, and if you really want a power move and you really want to throw people off, pick a kicker first, just to prove you're that much better than everybody else.
I want to see a team that actually traded for a kicker.
Yeah, if you trade for a kicker, you're an idiot. Outside of Justin Tucker's a valuable trade piece because he puts a
he's like the cherry on top. He's not the cake. He's the cherry
and Bucher put up 60 more points than any other kicker in the league.
Yeah.
The next was Lutz. He was like 30 points behind the other two. Outside of that, it's a 60-point drop. Kickers are a dime a dozen. Pick a good offense against a shitty defense. You got a kicker.
It's basic, man.
That's fantasy football for you. That's this week's podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. And if you're wondering about the rest of the sports, my NBA picks have been perfect this far. Shocker. Hey, Giannis, I believed in you. Get your head out of your ass. Outside of that, the playoffs are going pretty much the way it's going to, and it's not very competitive. Surprise, it's basketball. UFC, we're going through a dry spell here. Not a lot of great cards, but there's one coming up. We will break it down. Adesanya versus Paulo Costa.
Yep.
That's going to be a great card. It's shaping up nicely. MLB, still doing the damn thing. It's fun to watch. Give it a shot, guys. They're putting out a lot of great rules, and there's so many young, talented players. Baseball is sprinting to the finish line, and the Giants are in the hunt, boys. And your Yankees are falling out of it.
Yeah, we worry about the playoffs. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Whatever.
That's what
Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.